At 10:47 p.m. on a rainy Tuesday night, Ellis March found a 22-year-old kid sleeping on a bench inside Grand Central Terminal with a guitar case as a pillow and everything he owned stuffed into a duffel bag. Security was about to kick him out into the rain with nowhere to go. Ellis didn't know why he stopped, didn't know why he walked over, didn't know why he said, "Hey kid, you need a ride?" The young man looked up with eyes that had already seen too much disappointment, but still held a spark of something Ellis had lost 8 years ago: hope. If stories about unlikely connections and dreams worth fighting for move you, subscribe to Taxi Driver Stories. Here, every ride carries a chance, and some chances save 2 lives at once. What started as a simple act of kindness on a cold night would become something neither of them expected: a broke dreamer with a guitar and a broken driver running from his past. One ride, one conversation, one night that proved sometimes the person you help ends up helping you more.
Grand Central Terminal, 10:45 p.m. Rain hammering the windows. Ellis March stood near the taxi stand, waiting for the rain to ease up. Most drivers had already called it a night. The fares weren't worth getting soaked. But Ellis wasn't ready to go home yet. Home meant silence. Silence meant thinking. And thinking meant remembering Danny. So he waited. That's when he noticed the commotion near the information booth. A security guard standing over someone on a bench. A young man, early 20s, sitting up groggily, clearly had been sleeping. "You can't sleep here," the guard was saying. Not unkind, but firm. "Terminal rules. You gotta go." The kid rubbed his eyes. "It's pouring outside." "Not my problem. Come on, pack up." The kid stood slowly, gathering his things. A worn duffel bag. A guitar case covered in stickers from places he'd probably never been. Clothes that had seen too many washes. He was 22, maybe 23. Shaggy brown hair, tired eyes, the kind of skinny that came from missing too many meals. Ellis watched him shuffle toward the exit, guitar case slung over his shoulder, preparing to walk out into the downpour with nowhere to go. And something in Ellis just moved. "Hey, kid!" The young man turned. Ellis walked over. "You need a ride?" The kid blinked, surprised. I don't have money for a taxi." "Didn't ask if you had money. Asked if you needed a ride." The kid stared at him like he was trying to figure out if this was real or some kind of trick. "Why would you do that?" Ellis shrugged. "Because it's pouring, and you look like you could use a break." The kid's eyes filled with something Ellis couldn't quite name. Relief, maybe, or disbelief that someone actually gave a damn. "Okay," the kid said quietly. "Thank you." They ran through the rain to Ellis's taxi. The kid threw his stuff in the back and climbed in, soaking wet but grateful. Ellis cranked the heat and pulled out of the terminal. "Where to?" The kid hesitated. I don't really have a place to go." Ellis glanced in the mirror. "You're homeless?" "Not exactly. I had a place, sublet in Brooklyn, but my roommate kicked me out 3 days ago because I couldn't make rent." He wiped rain off his face. "I've been sleeping in the terminal, practice spaces, wherever I can crash for a few hours before someone kicks me out." Ellis drove aimlessly through Manhattan, giving the kid time to warm up. "What's your name?" Luca Martinez." "Ellis March." "What brought you to New York, Luca?" Luca looked out the window at the rain-soaked city. "Music. I came here to make it as a musician." He laughed bitterly. "Everyone told me I was crazy. My family, my friends back home. They said New York would eat me alive." His voice got quiet. Turns out they were right.
Ellis pulled into a 24-hour diner, the same one he always went to when he couldn't face going home. "Come on, you need food." Luca's eyes went wide. I can't pay. Didn't ask you to pay. Come on. Inside, they slid into a booth. Ellis ordered coffee, eggs, toast, bacon. Luca tried to protest, but Ellis just ordered anyway. When the food came, Luca ate like he hadn't seen a real meal in days, which Ellis realized he probably hadn't. How long you've been in New York? Ellis asked. 11 months. Came here with $2,000, a guitar, and a dream. Luca poked at his eggs. Burned through the money in 3 months, then working delivery jobs, restaurant gigs, anything to stay afloat. But every place I audition, nothing. Every demo I send, silence. His voice cracked. I'm starting to think maybe everyone was right. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Ellis studied him. You any good? Luca shrugged. I thought I was. Back home, I was the best. People came to my shows, said I had something special. He looked at his hands. But New York's full of people who were the best back home. Here, I'm just another broke kid with a guitar. Ellis poured raw coffee, watching Luca. I had a son, Ellis said quietly. Luca looked up. Danny. He died 8 years ago in a car accident. He was 7. Luca's expression softened immediately. I'm so sorry, man. Ellis nodded. After he died, I gave up everything. My wife left. My life fell apart. I started driving a taxi because it meant I could keep moving, never stay still, never think too hard. He met Luca's eyes. I gave up on everything that mattered because the pain was too big to face. His voice got stronger. But looking at you, this kid who came to New York with nothing but a dream and refuses to quit even when the whole city's telling him to, you remind me of something I forgot. What? That giving up is easy, showing up is hard, and the hard thing is usually the right thing. Luca's eyes filled with tears. I don't feel like I'm showing up. I feel like I'm barely surviving. Surviving is showing up, Ellis said firmly. Every morning you wake up and try again, that's showing up. Luca wiped his eyes, embarrassed. Sorry, I'm a mess. You're human, Ellis said. Big difference. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Can I hear you play? Ellis asked suddenly. What? Your guitar. Can I hear you play something? Luca looked around the diner nervously. Here? Why not? Place is empty except for us and the waitress. Luca hesitated, then slowly pulled his guitar case from under the table, opened it carefully like it contained something sacred. The guitar was old, worn, but clearly well-loved. Scratched and dented, but meticulously maintained. Luca tuned it quietly, fingers moving with practiced ease. Then he started to play, and Ellis understood immediately why Luca had come to New York. The kid was good, not just good, exceptional. His voice was raw but honest, the kind of voice that told stories you could feel in your chest, the kind of voice that made you remember things you'd tried to forget. He played a song about leaving home, about chasing something you can't quite name, about the space between who you are and who you want to be. When he finished, the diner was silent. Even the waitress had stopped moving to listen. Ellis felt something shift in his chest. Luca, he said quietly, you don't just have talent, you have something real. Luca looked down at his guitar. Then why isn't it working?
Ellis made a decision he hadn't planned to make. Stay with me. Luca's head snapped up. What? I have an apartment in Queens, 2 bedrooms. One's just storage and dust. You can crash there until you get on your feet. Luca stared at him. Why would you do that? You don't even know me. Ellis thought about Danny, about Claire, about 8 years of running from connection because connection meant risk. Because someone should have done it for me when I needed it, and they didn't. So I'm doing it for you. Luca's voice shook. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Crash on my couch until you find something better. No rent. Just help me not live like a ghost in my own apartment. Luca's eyes filled with tears. Yes. God, yes. Thank you. Ellis unlocked his apartment door for the first time in 8 years with someone else beside him. The place was exactly what you'd expect. Functional, but empty. No photos, no warmth, just a place to sleep between shifts. It's not much, Ellis said. Luca walked in slowly, taking it in. It's perfect. Ellis showed him the spare room, dusty boxes, an old mattress. But it had a door and a window.
I'll clear this out tomorrow. Tonight you can take the couch. Luca set down his guitar case like he was afraid it might disappear. Ellis, I don't know how to thank you. Thank me by not giving up on your dream. 1 week turned into 2. 2 weeks turned into a month. Luca got a job at a coffee shop 3 blocks away, started contributing to groceries even though Ellis told him not to, cleaned the apartment, cooked meals, brought life back into a space that had been dead for years. And every night, he played guitar. Ellis would sit in his chair pretending to read the paper, but really just listening. Luca played songs about home, about losing people, about finding yourself in a city that doesn't care if you exist. And slowly, Ellis started to feel something he hadn't felt in 8 years. Not quite happiness, but maybe the memory of what happiness felt like.
6 weeks after Ellis found Luca at Grand Central, Luca burst through the apartment door, electric with energy. "I got a gig!" Ellis looked up from the couch. "What?" "A real gig, not open mic night, not playing for tips, an actual paid show at the bitter end in the village. Friday night, opening slot, but still." Luca was practically vibrating. "The owner heard me playing at the coffee shop, said he liked my sound, gave me a slot." Ellis stood up, a genuine smile breaking across his face. "Luca, that's incredible." Luca grabbed Ellis's shoulders. "You have to come. Please, I need you there." Ellis's smile faltered. "I don't know." "Please," Luca said, his voice serious now. "You saved my life. Let me show you what you saved." Friday night, the bitter end, a legendary venue that had hosted everyone from Bob Dylan to Norah Jones. Ellis stood in the back, uncomfortable in the crowd, watching the stage. The opening act finished. The crowd clapped politely. Then Luca walked on stage. He looked different under the lights. Older, more confident, like he'd finally found where he belonged. He adjusted the mic, sat on the stool, pulled his guitar into position. "Hi everyone, I'm Luca Martinez, and before I start, I want to dedicate this set to someone special." He looked directly at Ellis. 6 weeks ago, I was sleeping on a bench at Grand Central with nowhere to go and no reason to keep trying. And a stranger named Ellis gave me a ride, gave me a place to stay, gave me a reason to believe my dream was still worth chasing. Luca's voice was thick with emotion. This first song is called "The Man Who Stopped." It's about the people who see you when everyone else looks away. He started playing, and Ellis felt tears running down his face before he even realized he was crying. The song was about him, about that night at Grand Central, about second chances and the courage it takes to help someone when you're barely holding yourself together. The crowd was silent, captured. When Luca finished, the applause was deafening. After the show, Luca found Ellis outside, still wiping his eyes. "So?" Luca asked nervously. "What did you think?" Ellis pulled him into a hug, the first time he'd hugged anyone since Danny died. "You're gonna make it, kid. I know it." Luca hugged him back. "I wouldn't be here without you." They stood there on the sidewalk, 2 broken people who'd somehow helped each other find a way forward. "Ellis," Luca said carefully, "can I ask you something?" "Anything." "When are you going to let yourself live again?" Ellis pulled back, looking at him. "You saved me," Luca continued, "but you're still running from something. I see it. Every time you stare at nothing, every time you avoid talking about your past." His voice was gentle but firm. "You gave me a second chance. When are you going to give yourself one?"
2 months later, Ellis pulled up outside Claire's apartment building. He'd called ahead this time, asked if she'd meet him for coffee. She said yes. They sat in a small cafe, and for the first time in 8 years, Ellis told her everything. About the taxi, about running, about Luca. "This kid reminded me what it means to show up," Ellis said, "even when everything's telling you to quit." Claire's eyes were wet. "I'm glad you found him." "Me too." They talked for 2 hours, not about getting back together, but about forgiveness, about moving forward, about staying in each other's lives as friends at least. When they parted, Claire hugged him. "I'm proud of you, Ellis, for helping that kid, for helping yourself." That night, Ellis came home to find Luca cooking dinner. "How'd it go with Claire?" Luca asked. "Good. Really good." Luca grinned. "See? I told you. Second chances work both ways." Ellis laughed, a real laugh that felt rusty but good. "Yeah, kid, they do."
6 months later, Ellis stood in the back of a packed venue watching Luca perform to a sold-out crowd. The kid had made it. Record deal, tour dates, everything he'd dreamed of. After the show, a reporter asked Luca, "What's the secret to your success?" Luca smiled. "Someone believed in me when I'd stopped believing in myself. That's all any of us really need. Someone who sees us when we can't see ourselves." Ellis drove home that night thinking about how strange life was. He'd spent 8 years running from connection, and one broke kid with a guitar had reminded him that connection was the only thing that mattered. His phone buzzed. Text from Luca. "Thanks for everything, Ellis. You didn't just give me a place to stay. You gave me a reason to stay alive. I love you, man." Ellis typed back through tears. "Love you too, kid. Proud of you." Because sometimes the person you help on their worst night becomes the person who saves you from yours. Some rides end at the curb. Others go much further. If this story reminded you that small acts of kindness create ripples that change lives, that dreams are worth fighting for, and that helping others helps us heal, subscribe to Taxi Driver Stories for daily journeys of hope, connection, and unexpected bonds. New stories every day, because sometimes the ride changes everything.